Welcome back to Bros in a Landfill. Well, we're RTKOU because you'll just give up.
More like welcome back to Bros in a Landfill. You turned off because you heard Dizzy do the quip. Your hosts for this week are Dizzy. Hello, Dizzy. I assume you walked away. We also have lunch here this week.
Sure you can.
And we have Tar as well. Did I say Tar's name? I don't know.
Hello.
Dizzy, Tar, Lunch, Try. The crew's here all together talk about fighting games. I don't know if Dizzy's still here.
I never left. I just have been defiantly closing my mouth at your.
No, you broke his heart right up.
Yeah, that was really mean. I am so sorry, but I'm also not sorry.
I'm gonna be much better because last week it was the fucking worst. I'm gonna be
No,
better this week.
We
I
didn't
promise.
see it because you don't have your video up, you fucking dingus.
Well, I didn't leave anyways.
Also, Dizzy, you just know that I am projecting because I know it's the same thing for me, if not worse. It's like, oh, you hear Try talking. Oh, I know this is a shit-ass episode.
Jesus.
And then they hear Lunch and Tar talking, and they're like, okay, there's some saving grace. Maybe there'll be something funny in here, but Try and Dizzy, oof.
Did you put Tar? Did you quip Tar? I forgot.
No.
Tar-
I didn't have one.
Not quip.
Yeah.
Introduce. Whatever. Screw it.
Oh, yeah, you
This
introduced me.
This is four-man
Yeah, I introduced
Smash.
everybody.
This is a four-man battle. We got all four of us.
Yeah.
We're talking about fighting games again.
Hooray.
Ooh, great theming.
So,
Yay!
Yes. so before cast, Lunch wanted to talk about some Smash leaked spoilers or something.
Possibly. Is this a bros talk now?
No, it's fucking Bros in a
probably
Landfill, you
episode.
Fucking
ass.
bros in the landfill,
This is
Dizzy.
a
Get
bros
the
talk
fuck with
because
the
the new
program.
character is controversial. Didn't I just promise I'd be better?
Your mom is controversial.
Wow.
So, apparently, so a lot of people are wondering who the next Super Smash Bros. Character is going to be, as usual. But there's a new development where it seems that on the Nintendo UK page for Smash Brothers, I think, they've listed the fourth DLC character as a trademark of SNK. So maybe that's a mistake. Maybe there's some kind of content in the game that isn't related to that character that's SNK that's in the DLC. Who knows? But that seems unlikely. I think
SNK?
that maybe it is actually an SNK
What is
character.
what
Now,
is SNK?
No,
I'm not
they're
really great with abbreviations, so...
They're it surprises me because they're kind of obscure, relatively speaking, at least compared to Smash Brothers characters. I think they're most well known for Metal Slug.
SNK is a developer?
Is it
It's
a
not game?
developer?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Capcom cross SNK.
Yeah, they've
One
made
of their-
a shit ton of fighting games. King of Fighters, Samurai Showdown.
Oh.
The
Oh
Lost
my god,
Blade,
Phoenix Wright's gonna be in After All.
Art
I
of
guess I'll
Fighting.
be eating my words after all.
We might be getting a King of Fighters character. That might be interesting.
That would be awesome. SNK's got lots of cool characters.
And
I've
why
never
should I
actually
pick none
played
of
King
them?
of
I mean,
Fighters. Help.
It's not like we've never had Ryu face off against a SNK character before.
Yeah, well, I mean, Capcom vs. SNK was one of my favorite games as a kid. So if I could recreate that in Smash Ultimate, which is Smash Bros. Being my other favorite game as a kid, that's sick, dude. There's so many cool
I'm glad to
SNK
hear that from
characters.
you.
I would love there are lots of cool choices. Anyone from King of Fighters. I mean, it probably won't be the main
Wait,
dude
hang
from
on.
Samurai. Yeah.
King of Fighters is Terry Bogard?
Yes, he is in that, though not originally. I think Terry Bogart's originally from a game called
Final
Fatal
Fight?
Fury.
Fatal
Fury.
Oh,
Which is
that's
another-
okay.
King of Fighters
No,
is
am I talking about?
SNK's crossover, where they get games because they made Art of Fighting, they made Fatal Fury,
Oh.
and then they made a bunch of new characters, and they put it all in the King of Fighters.
Oh, okay.
But Terry Bogard
Sound-
could totally be the character in Smash. That would make sense, and that would be sick.
Yeah.
I love that guy. He
I could see
speaks in
it.
kind of broken English, even though he's meant to be American because they didn't have an American guy. And he's like, "Okay." It's fucking great.
And then they'd ruin him by giving him proper English, and everyone would say, "No, give us back the broken English."
Broken
not
English
him if
Terry it's so lovable.
It's not him without his terrible. It doesn't
don't know, I
work
still-
if he speaks it fluently.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's how
about you. I
feel.
still think it's going to end up being Minecraft Steve.
Look,
I think after how horrible Smash Joker was, nothing can make me angry anymore. So I'm fine with anyone they pick.
seriously, what if it was not Nakaruru from Samurai Showdown, where she's like this cool girl with a sword and she's got an owl, and then to up B, you like grab on the owl and flap back up? That'd be sick.
I just want to echo the
You mean like
dolphin.
Duck Hunt's useless up B?
Use
I-
Echo the
yeah,
Dolphin
but
and for
but
Smash.
cool. Because oh my god, we're going back to Echo the Dolphin. This devolved pretty quickly. How do you control Echo the Dolphin in Smash Brothers? Explain to me. Go.
How do you not control
I
Echo the
don't know, I'm
Dolphin in
memeing.
Smash Brothers?
I don't know. I
He's
never
not
played Echo
made
the
for
Dolphin.
land. I don't care if he's a mammal.
You know,
put him in a
Kirby wasn't
mech.
made for fighting games.
Did you just
Animal
tell
Crossing
me to put
wasn't
Echo
made
the
for
Dolphin in a
fighting
mech?
games.
Yeah.
It's Nintendo. They'll
Fucking
figure
hell.
something out. You know what? If they put Echo the Dolphin in, you'd be eating your words. Just like if they put Steve
They
in,
put Bowser Jr. in a mech.
just like if they
I
put
mean, it's
Steve
true.
in Smash, I'd
Bowser
be eating my
Jr.'s
words.
supposed to be in a mech. He's not
Is
a fucking.
he though? Is he really?
He's in a mech all the time, and also he's not a dolphin. He has arms and legs. What does a dolphin in a mech even look like? How's the dolphin control the mech?
Bowser Jr. wasn't always
With its
in the mech, but
expansive
then with
brain power.
with
I guess
new
that's
Super
true.
Mario Bros. Wii onward, Bowser Jr. has just always been in the mech. Before new Super Mario Bros. Wii, he walked around on his 2 feet and he breathed fire and stuff. So Bowser Jr.
This is also
Bowser Jr. Sorry.
This is the first time I've heard of anyone referring to Bowser Jr.'s Koopa Clown car as a mech, by the way.
I thought
mean,
it was
it's pretty-
Bowser's.
Well,
I mean, it's
they-
pretty apt.
They both have one of those. Whatever.
I
What are
don't
you talking
even-
about? Clearly,
I don't
I'm the
know.
only one who cares about SNK because, of course, they're a bit obscure. But I just personally think that'll be awesome because
they're obscure,
rather than
we
some
just-
other more popular character,
We
because I
just-
like SNK.
I've seen a lot of Kingdom Fighters trailers. I've just never played one of them because games.
I don't think they're obscure. I think I'm just too young to know them because they sound like they were arcade game people. I remember I
Oh,
heard
and-
like Streets of Rage was really big in arcades, but when I was born, we already had home consoles, so I just never thought about him. Is all.
I can tell you, I never met another person at school who knew about SNK or anything like that. So, like,
Really?
don't worry. Though,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess a lot of people
This
might.
is actually
age
news
didn't
to
know
me
about
that
Nintendo either.
that it's less than well known.
No, I mean
I'm
they're
actu-
not like tiny, but like compared to the other characters people are clamoring to get into Smash Brothers, SNK is very surprising.
I mean, I would say that like SMK is more obscure than BlazBlue. Like,
Possibly.
And
I
that's-
can't
I would
verify that.
be Ragnar the Blooded.
I thought
jeez.
BlazBlue was like the big anime fighter, though.
yeah, but that's the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
BlazBlue
true.
is the big. But the point of the matter is that this SNK is more obscure. Like, the King of Fighters is a
Oh.
more obscure fighting game series than an anime fighter.
I think Fighter Z
That's-
is the big anime fighting game now.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
what? You right.
Because
But like Fighter Z is also Dragon Ball. People
Yeah.
grew up watching Dragon Ball. People didn't grow up watching BlazBlue.
And now that
Like-
now Fighter Z is gonna have everyone's fan favorite Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Gogeta, and also Broly eventually, maybe, probably, possibly.
Broly's already in the
not.
game.
Thought
No,
Broly
they-
was in the game.
I thought they were putting
No.
I thought
Broly and
they were putting movie Broly in, weren't they? That was
Oh, yeah, they
now
are
they're
in the
doing movie
yeah.
Broly, who is
Oh.
Oh.
totally different because this one, this one also goes but he doesn't say Kakarot, so
he has different
Yes.
moves, I guess.
and
Maybe.
he doesn't go Super Saiyan as early, so he's actually totally different, and he's got a sad, abusive dad
Who-
and a
he
hot
has-
green babe from space.
Who will not be in the
So-
game.
Totally different.
And meanwhile, everyone's clamoring for Pan, Oob, and Super Saiyan ladies from Tournament of Power.
Man, who gives
Hey,
a shit
I
about
want
Super
this.
Saiyan Lady from Tournament of Power? Super Saiyan Lady from Tournament of Power is the perfect way to describe that fucking character.
Well,
Someone doesn't like Super, or is a
Well-
misogynist.
Oh, well, fucking...
you know what? You know what?
I mean,
Trying
look
to
at the shit
replace
Master
Dot.
Roshi does. Tell me that you can like Dragon Ball Super and not be a misogynist, you know?
What? You know what? I would say it's it's actually reverse misogyny to dislike those two because there's nothing to them at all, and I'm saying I want good female characters. Yeah, I hate them. They're bland and boring. And one character's personality is yelling sister, and the other person's personality is female Goku.
Yes. And then they come together to become female
Yelly.
Goku.
Yeah, fuck him.
Oh my god.
Fuck him.
But
Give us Pan.
We're
Pan's
talking
a
about
good
fighting games.
character.
Here. Pan,
Pan
I,
is a-
I actually like Pan a lot.
Yeah, give
I
us
think
Pan.
Pan's great.
Fuck those two from Super. Give us Pan. Pan is a good character. She's a strong, independent
This is
woman.
gonna get us quite a few dislikes on this video.
Great. Yeah, no, nobody likes that character but me. But she's great. She's
I
got
like
spunk.
Pan. I'm the one who
great,
brought her up.
That's true. I shouldn't be claiming that.
Pan
Nice
I
is
haven't watched
segue
enough
into another
GT.
fighting game, by the way.
Yeah.
Very,
Pan is
very,
good.
very
Yeah,
smooth.
good.
Apart from me calling it out right now.
Yes,
Yes.
transitioning into Blaze Blue of all games. What a twist!
Hey, I play that game.
Pan or Mr. Satan.
Kinda.
I want Mr. Satan in Blaze Blue.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Arc Systems, make it happen.
So Fighter Z is a very popular fighting game.
Wait, are we talking about Blaze Blue or not?
I was joking because we were segueing into Fighter Z, and then I said we were segueing into Blaze Blue.
So what's
Oh.
happening? So FighterZ is an easy game to pick up.
I mean, all ArcSys games aren't hard to like kind of tie together. Like Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear Xrd. Well, not Fighter Z and Guilty Gear Xrd like aren't that different of games outside of Fighter Z like having flying and stuff. But they're made by the same team and they're pretty similar in regards to control and whatnot, but that's sort of the same thing with every ArcSys game. It's just they each have their own twists and kinks and whatnot.
Every
I think,
Arc System Works game has different kinks. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
well, I'm not. It's not too surprising. Like
In
they
Blaze-
look pretty.
Except Blaze Blue. Blaze Blue has every kink.
yes. Ooh, damn straight.
Well, that'll be another episode. But that's
No,
Yeah,
let's never get back to that ever.
Man.
Disney doesn't like the fact that Blaze Blue is kinky.
Well,
Something that something about the ArcSys games as opposed to some other well, I guess anime fighters in general like to have these like big like dramatic sorts of fights. You see these in like the Bandai Namco Ultimate Ninja and their Dragon Ball games is that they're very cinematic games, but they don't really play well. They focus much more on the cinematic aspect as opposed to playing like a competitive fighting game.
yeah. I appreciate that Arc System Works games have that spectacle, but they're also pretty solid.
They're also games.
Yeah, they're also games. My only I guess kind of issue with this situation is that I mean it's awesome that they've made these cool traditional fighters based on anime, but I think I would really like it if someone tried to make a competitive version of the arena fighter that most other anime games are, because like the idea of running around the arena and like having the camera behind you and that being a fighting game is really interesting. But
I think that's what ArcSys is doing with Kill la Kill.
Right. I forgot that exists. I hope
So
that's
did
actually
I.
good.
don't worry, Lunch. You're not alone there.
Well, it does
And
look
then-
like kind of a smaller profile game by then, but like a really good effort to make something like that super like somewhat competitive would be cool.
Like something that I somewhat appreciate with the Ultimate Ninja series is that through each game, like they have made attempts to make it more competitive. There is more skill and strategy, but due to the overly bloated cast and relatively simple control schemes, there isn't really much in terms of actual technical play. It's much more about spacing, timing, and reading. Like it really is more just about spacing and timing rather than knowing your combos and technical play.
Well, I just kind of
Okay,
felt like
hold
oh,
up.
you on.
We are still talking about Fighter Z, right?
Well, Arc System versus like I guess we're talking about like because like with Fighter Z, it's like it's very much more the technical gameplay. But there's also
Blaze Blue is very combo heavy.
well, no, that's what I'm saying is like the Arc System games are combo heavy, but
If
we're
you
talking
look
about,
at
something
Ultimate Ninja Storm or something, or one of those like kind of standard arena anime fighting games.
Oh, like
they're-
the Naruto Shippudens?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're not super
Massive
technical.
casts.
Oh, those
Yeah.
ones aren't. No.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Those
Like, any-
Naruto Shippuden just pick Datara, spam X button, and win.
well, I mean, yes, that's absolutely the case, and there's no real way around it. except if you choose Datara as well.
Thing is, like, these games aren't like a. It's not like these guys are trying to make super competitive fighting games. I think they're mostly trying to make fan service and like a love letter to the original franchise, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's led people to the belief that arena fighting games can't possibly be competitive, and that like
Didn't they make like Jump Force an arena fighting game? And then no one
Jump
liked
Force
it because
sucks.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, like
because
you look
it was
at
really
what
bad.
all these anime games come out and they follow the same basic template and they don't try very hard to do much different with it, and so I think it tarnishes the potential name of that genre of fighting game, because like
You're saying that
a lot of
fighting
people
games have
believe
too
that
much of
like
a pattern that it's not deviating from, and that well, it's good to have a 2D 1v1 or team versus team thing, that you kind of want a little more spice and variety.
yeah, well, I would
Yeah.
just like to see
All
those
I
other places
remember about
explored.
All I remember about the Naruto game is that I main Raikage.
I don't even
I
know
played
what
the
that is.
Insect Lady, and then I returned it to my game renter because I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know who anyone was. And then I looked up a YouTube video about Baruto, and I was like, okay, wait, hold on. Who are you? How are you any different than any other anime character?
Man.
No.
A
It's
million Naruto
Naruto's
fans just like
son.
screamed out in pain
That
just now.
automatically makes him a good character.
Yeah, like if you look at Smash Brothers, like that's pretty different to
Here
fucking
we
Street
go.
Fighter. You motherfucker! It's
if you look at-
one comparison. I'm saying that's another fighting game that a lot of people for a long time didn't even consider to be like a proper fighting game. A lot of people still don't, just because it doesn't fit the Street Fighter mold. I'd like to
Can I
see a
just
bunch
say,
of
I
experimental
think it's
shit.
ridiculous that they're banning Hero. I missed that part of last week's episode, so I'm bringing it up now. I think that's strange, but I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I can talk about it all I want all day long. It's not going to change anything. I just think it's weird.
I don't think it's super weird.
I disagree with the
think,
notion that it's
now we
luck-based
are
over
playing
skill-based, because...
Heroes
if-
I
fucking
also
super
disagree with it.
luck-based.
But I also disagree with the hero ban, but whatever.
I
I
I've
don't
kind of
live in
given
South
up on that.
Australia, so it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, I'm just saying I think it's weird and I disagree with the reasons, but I'm also like, well, I can't storm up to their office and then be like, hey, I got glassed while I was at your bar. Might want to do something about that? Bye. And then I take a plane and I leave and I go back home.
I
So-
forgot what I came here to argue about.
No, it's pointless to yell at those kinds of rule makers.
It's pointless to yell at those kinds of rule makers.
Yeah,
what are you
pretty
talking
much.
about?
You were talking
Smash
about how
Brothers,
Smash
man.
Brothers is different than Street Fighter, and I was talking about how I think the hero ban is weird, and that's just
Okay.
kind of the end of my thoughts.
Yeah, well, I wasn't attempting to segue into Smash Bros. Just a comparison, but
Well, too late. Smash Brothers is my new cursed game that I scream about every episode.
Yay! Go
Yay.
Disney, screaming about things.
well, in that case, I don't think it's that weird to ban a character's has random
I was
elements.
kidding.
He was being purposely incendiary.
I was being purposely cynical, and also I don't know. I don't really see the problem myself, but I think the reason why I'm trying to segue out of this conversation is because my entire point is I don't see the problem. So
Well, I
can-
think that might
you
go back
can-
to like you've well, I think it goes back
Especially
to
since most of Hero's random spells are projectiles that are very linear.
The problem is
Like,
not that he's
all
too
of his
good,
random
though.
moves hit in front of him to some degree.
yeah, I
Sure,
don't
kind of.
I don't see how
I
that's hard to plan around or for.
so, like,
I mean,
so
Just jump.
a guy's
You're
gonna,
already like
So just assume that something is going to come out in front of you, and maybe it will instantly kill you, and maybe it'll just put you to sleep, or maybe it'll do something not that bad, or maybe he'll get psych up, and then his next hit will kill you at 30. Like, I don't know, man. It's stupid.
I don't know.
Critical
Well,
hits,
I mean,
it's stupid.
Pretty much
Well,
when you're
the
playing competitive Smash, your entire point is to beat your opponent while not getting hit in general.
Yeah, but like that doesn't
You're
mean
always
that
going to be playing
it's-
defensive and trying to read your opponent's moves.
Of course, you don't want to get hit by a forward smash, but sometimes you get hit by a forward smash, and sometimes if
Yeah.
it kills you way earlier than it should just because of luck, I think that's kind of lame. It's like, well, that guy didn't outplay me. I just lost my stock for no reason.
Yeah, like
I don't see that.
well, forward smashes are like still a technical skill that you need to be able to pull off at the right timing and whatnot. Where if you're playing up against someone who's using randomized skills, it really makes the risk management of the risk assessment of your whatever you're doing basically impossible. It makes it part of what makes strategic competitive play fun and interesting is reading your opponent. And if you can't read your opponent, you're essentially like in a position where even if the randomized skills aren't good, it puts you at a natural competitive disadvantage to not be able to know what each move is going to happen or whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's the same rationale for not playing with items, which is obviously a much bigger change in to the core game, but it's the same kind of idea where it's like if you're just working with incomplete information, like you don't have all the pieces to a puzzle, then it's not that easy to solve it. I don't know. I don't think that Hero's too good, that's for sure. He seems to be fine. He's an okay character. I think his crazy moves aren't gonna destroy, start wrecking tournaments or anything. It's more like on principle I understand why he's banned. I don't really have I don't super have a problem with him staying in the game or not being in there.
Well, it's
I
sort
saw
of
a clip of this poor Pac-Man player getting thwacked at 10% and rage quitting.
At 10%?
Well,
what the fuck?
See, that kind of goes back to the competitive spirit. Part of what makes competitive play fun is feeling like you have a chance on every and failure is your own fault.
Yes.
You could have played better. Now, if your opponent's playing a character with a completely randomized moveset or even quite a bit of randomness, part of the reason why items are taken off is that if you have a cheap death in a competitive play, if you get hit by an attack that wouldn't normally, let's say has a 10% chance of actually killing you, then at no point was that, oh, you lost because you were the worst player, or, oh, you lost because the other person was just this much marginally better. It becomes, oh, you lost because the world hates you right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, this just sounds like a gamble in general.
Yeah, but fighting game tournaments aren't about gambling. There's a level of gambling. Oh, I can, will my opponent do this jump? Will I have to predict my opponent's move?
Will this move kill my opponent, or will it completely get me effed?
Well, yeah, that's not a very fun risk either. Or it's not it's not a very skill-based.
Yeah, there's a fine line between predicting what your opponent's going to do, who's a human being who you could have studied. If this is a competitive play, let's say this is high-level play, you could have studied this player. He might be a really good person who's done a lot of tournaments. You can study him, know what his tactics are, know how he normally plays, and you can just play that into the assessment of your next move. When you're doing something that the computer randomizes, it's sort of that really is up to the luck of the draw. There's you don't know the processes that will determine what exact skill will be used at that moment, where you can reasonably make an educated guess of what a player will do in a certain circumstance.
Yeah, well, that's behavior, It's like trying to guess someone's behavior versus guess a random number generator. However, I do want to state that I think the hero is a really fun character. I think he's really enjoyable. And I wouldn't if I went to a tournament and hero wasn't banned, I'd be like, cool. But I'm not a super competitive player either. I play in tournaments occasionally as a hobby. I feel for the whole esports nature of it, I definitely don't have a problem with him being banned. But he's fucking fun. It's so much fun when his randomness is really, really crazy.
Yeah,
it's fun when you thwack someone at 10.
Yeah, that's or when you're fighting a hero on lost stock and he panics and hits down B and then explodes and dies.
But that's sort of the magic of Smash, is that it has all of these casual elements to it where anybody can have fun with it, but it also has this high ceiling of competitive play. And it makes sense why a lot of these more competitive tournaments have these certain rules and restrictions to make it more competitive, because the option is there to make it competitive. It's
you can play it with whatever philosophy you want. I think that's cool.
And that's part of, I think, the philosophy behind Nintendo, behind Smash, is that anybody can pick it up and play it however they want. That's why there are so many modes.
Definitely
tournament
these
doesn't-
days as well.
If a tournament doesn't want to have a certain character because they feel like he's too random and takes away from the competitive element of it, then who's to say who's to say, hey, you're wrong for banning that character? It's like that's sort of like they have every right to ban a certain character, just as you have every right to play it as casual as you fucking want.
Well, this suddenly turned into the Dizzy and Tar fucking call out. Who the fuck do you think you are telling other people how they can tell other people how to play Smash Brothers?
And,
You son of a
And if you don't like the tournament, don't participate in the tournament.
I'm confused how
That's-
we're calling me out.
I'm
Oh, do we-
confused
we're
who's
always-
getting called out at what, and I
I don't
still don't get
I'm-
it.
I'm
Yeah.
confused here.
I'm not really calling anybody out. I just
I
felt
know,
like calling the amorphous being of people who think that it's wrong to ban a certain character, even though I don't even care.
I love your I love your term amorphous being. It makes me imagine just this weird sludge monster of hands and eyeballs.
Okay,
So
but
bad.
lunch.
Try.
What?
Oh.
It's the fault of the weed blobs.
No, lunch.
Oh my God.
Is this an old era Shin Megami Tensei final boss
Oh
or
my
a new era
God.
Shin Megami Tensei final
This
boss?
is gonna continue for the rest
Yeah,
of the time.
don't worry. I'm not gonna even comment on that.
Don't open the can of worms.
No,
All right.
the can is firmly shut. I'm not gonna make that mistake twice. But I was gonna say that I think it's funny that you're saying that this is a call out. My entire point was I don't understand it, and even after all this talking, I still don't understand it.
Well,
I just
I'm
think
glad
it's a
we
weird
spent the
decision
last
to make.
37
Well, no,
minutes.
I can just sit here and
explaining it
feel like if I was playing it competitively, I wouldn't want to play against a character that I knew I could just randomly die to for no reason other than the
I
world
don't-
hates me.
I don't even think you would, because you guys keep talking about how Hero is mid tier at best. So that's why that's
Well,
part
that's,
of
but that's
what
the but that's the worst. But that's the worst thing. He's a mid-tier character that could just instantly kill you.
That's why I'm
like-
so perturbed. I feel like
It's not about him being too good. It's about the fucking underlying philosophy of the pressing of the
that's
buttons.
not even what I'm saying. I'm saying because you're saying he might throw down the down B. He might RKO you at not RKO. He might KO you at 10%. But I'm like, if you let's put yourself in the shoes of a competitor player. Would you main a character who in their entire win possibility is this down B gamble, or would you play a higher tier character that you can reliably get kills with?
So you're saying that nobody would play him enough for it to matter anyway?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I mean,
I think
the
there
hero
are
still
enough
has
trolls.
a sword and all of that.
Yeah, and there's enough trolls out there who would do that.
I feel like if you're going to be playing
I
competitively,
played
in,
against
big
one on
tournaments,
Thursday.
You want as much. Yeah, but you play locals.
Yeah,
So
I
if you're
do.
gonna play in a big competitive tournament.
No,
you're
no, no, no,
probably
no.
gonna want as much certainty
Dizzy,
as possible.
Dizzy.
I think that's a good point.
Dizzy.
Yeah.
This was the best player in Colorado.
Oh.
Okay. So a guy won a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament with Exodia, and that card sucks.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
was a
Everyone's
pro-
favorite fighting game.
He was-
Everyone's
pro-
favorite fighting.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
pros can mess around. Pros love
Second
messing
round,
around.
we just messed around and did a hero ditto.
Yeah.
Hero Dittos are great.
Yeah, maybe they'll put Yugi Moto in Smash Brothers. There's still DLC slot 5, and he wasn't
it's
Jump
still
Force.
slot 5.
He
I'm just waiting
counts.
for the Arc System Yu-Gi-Oh! Fighting game.
No. I'd probably play it. just to
Lunch
find
has
out.
visceral feelings about that.
I wanted to get Lunch to play Duel Links, but then I remembered his computer is kind of slow, so I'm like, never mind. This would just melt your system.
What? Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links? This is fucking... You telling me
Fighting
I
game
can't play
cast. I
Yu-Gi-Oh!
know.
card game on my computer?
This game is 60 gigabytes. It's
What?
fucking massive.
Isn't
It's
it just a bunch of
ridiculous.
PNG images fucking bouncing off each other?
No.
PNG images have some pretty high
Okay.
bit rate.
It has
What the
so many images. You have no idea. It's ridiculous. People who I used to play this game with on their phones had to delete it because there wasn't enough space on their phone for the game, and they got rid of everything else. It's nonsense.
That's ridiculous.
It reminds me of picking up Ace Attorney 6 for the 3DS. I had to get an entirely separate SD card for that son of a bitch.
See, that's
Motherfuckers.
see, Dizzy. Tar. That's why I got myself a very expansive SD card years ago before SOJ came out.
What is wrong with game developers? Learn how to compress systems. Unless this is
Oh, what's-
compressed, in which case, oh my god.
No,
It probably is.
you're assuming that Namco Bandai can code good games.
Damn.
Okay, you know what? You say damn, I point at Dark Souls' initial Steam release. That was unplayable.
Wait, I think I actually have a Namco game. Wait. They did Bakugan stuff, right?
Oh, the Bakugan Battle Brawlers Wii game?
Oh,
Hey, look at
yeah!
that, we're getting back to fighting game
Yeah.
cast.
Oh, that's
Hey,
the good stuff.
Lunch,
I
get
will
back
say,
here.
as
We're
much
still
as I-
talking fighting games.
As much as I love the Bakugan like card game and stuff, like the show and stuff, like the choices they made for that video game were so bizarre. Like,
I don't
After
actually know what
watching the
Bakugan
anime,
is about.
Not really.
but but it's the like, oh, you throw it, you roll around, you pick up like.
Oh, that?
Well,
Okay, I can
yeah.
kind of see that.
And
But
the-
that made
and
the
then the
arenas
mini-
unique. I actually liked that
Yeah, but
element
the-
of it.
Oh no, I liked it. I'm just saying it's really weird that they did that. Like,
It's weird, but it was a good decision.
yeah. Well, the other thing is like between that and the mini games, it didn't matter who had the stronger deck. Like decks didn't. It was like at the end of the day, it was all just let's whatever's your fancy. Like they basically made every single deck viable just based off how good your skill was in regards to.
Not really. You need the better Bakugans. You can't
Ow.
use your starters through the entire
Well,
game.
no.
Hey,
oh,
Lunch, don't
I'm
you just
I'm
love
talking.
this conversation?
I'm talking more specific. I'm talking more specifically if you're doing like co-op, like 2-player play because because if
Oh
you
yeah,
like
the
the AI
multiplayer was scuffed.
but like the A like with the AI like the AI just gets too good at the end of the game anyways that you need just
No,
like you're what
no,
No.
no, it doesn't.
No.
well no I'm talking about like if you,
No.
if you it's too good for you to
No.
cheese with a weak deck. That's what I'm.
You know what? You know what?
Mm.
You know what, Try? I
What's that?
completely forgot what we were talking about.
Fighting games. So you know what my favorite fighting game is?
Bakugan on 3DS.
I hope
No,
you're not about
no,
to
not
trigger my
Mortal
tower.
Kombat.
Try.
You know,
Sure
I
fucking
don't-
sounds like that's your favorite fighting game right now, Try.
no,
That's what
I don't-
the vibe I'm getting.
I'm just
I don't
really
know,
hoping
but
no
like-
one mentions that one game. I'm
Oh,
not even gonna.
what-
I'm not gonna say it because I know Try's gonna bring it up. So you just.
Well, I was
continue,
just
train
gonna,
of thoughts.
I was just gonna say that like we never were able to finish our Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh, am I finally
discussion
gonna
during
ask
the
that
podcast.
question to lunch now? Or not ask that question?
Yeah.
Answer that
Hey,
question.
before
that
we
he
do
asked
that,
me.
There's a new Under Night in Birth coming out, and it sounds good.
If
Is
I
it
have,
a
if I
new
have
don't-
time
one
in-
or is it a remake of one again?
I think it's a new one.
they're all. Oh, aren't they all
No.
remakes of one?
I think they are all remakes of the first one, but you know what? There's one with a new title now, so there's probably going to be at least 2 new characters.
No.
What's Under
I-
Night in
we're-
Birth?
It's
Under
Blaze
Night
Blue, but
in
not
Birth
Blaze
is
Blue.
the better version of Blaze Blue.
I can
Okay.
believe it. Blaze Blue went to shit after it like introduced like astral like
So
finishes and then
you see the character that my Discord profile picture is? That's one of the Under Night's characters. That's my main. That's Vitista. She's a good girl.
Oh,
No, she's not.
okay.
She is very good.
She hates puppies. and
She loves
kittens.
puppies.
She hates
Probably.
puppies and kittens.
Hidden lore emerging on Frozen Land.
So are we talking about 11 or are we talking about?
we can talk about Mortal
Under
Kombat in
Night.
general.
I was just
I
gonna
just
say.
wanted to
what-
bring up Under Night because
Yeah,
I
I-
could.
That's cool. It's fighting game related. What did someone want to ask me or talk to me about with Mortal Kombat?
You said way back in our Mortal Kombat cast, a
Yeah.
question was asked, and it was dicks or asses. No, it wasn't. The
Whoa.
question was asked, which is give me a better story than Mortal Kombat 11. And I thought about it. I gave you FighterZ, but then I retracted that.
I
and-
swear
Yeah.
to God, that is one
I
of the
retracted
worst
it.
fucking takes you could have possibly responded with.
I retracted
Dizzy's-
that statement.
I
even
love
though
you,
I
Dizzy, but-
explained my thought process.
The Dragon Ball
explain my
Fighter
thoughts.
story mode fucking like 10
I mean,
hours of like.
I'll say this. I'll say this, Dizzy. Like that was a bad take, and coming from me, that's pretty embarrassing.
I explained my thought processes as to why I picked that, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what? I can't give you a better story than 11 because 11 is its own thing. I judge it as its own thing, which is why I was saying all those things based only on 11. Like when I was watching
your
the
ultimate
11 story,
answer is so what you want to say after like all these months since we did that podcast was that there isn't
what I was gonna
one
say is
because it's not on the same. It's not the same thing.
What I was going to say is it's basically a disservice and almost a dismissal to try to say to try to compare it to something else because I'm more focused on judging the thing as itself. I didn't really consider it as anything else. You were saying give me a better story than Mortal Kombat 11, but what my response is after all this time of thinking is why.
I don't think.
I don't know why the fuck did the Big Bang happen and we all ended up on this planet after evolving from fucking
bouncing off
monkeys.
Of what Dizzy said. I don't think there's anything really good to compare Mortal Kombat 11 to either other than like their specific Mortal Kombat games because
I'm saying why compare it at all?
Well, there's no other series that really does these long cinematic movie style fighting game stories.
Well, not that aren't made by NetherRealm anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I could. It's like I could compare it to BlazBlue all I want, but I think the reason why I like BlazBlue's story, at least the first two games, better, is because I prefer that sort of like anthology sort of take of it where you
has a really good story.
Is it
Under Night in Birth?
Yeah.
Okay, Tar, if the new Under Night in Birth still has like I don't have to catch up with the old story, and it's like still has like the old story preserved in there for me to continue, I will pick it up just for your sake. But I don't want to have to buy an older game just to play through the story to get new stuff.
You can look up the story stuff on YouTube.
I mean, I could, but am I gonna?
That's fair.
I like experiencing my stories because I'm weird. Anyways, back to the BlazBlue to Mortal Kombat comparison. Like the thing I like about BlazBlue's like initial stories is that it is a bunch of it takes that fighting game concept of you have all these different characters. You see the story through all these different characters' perspectives leading up to one point. Like they kind of just converge to like one point with changes because of different timeline shenanigans. And like I don't dislike the Mortal Kombat, like the NetherRealm style, but I think I prefer that having more focus on individual characters rather than like having like a single chapter focused on one or two. And that's the other thing about 11 that kind of like I think 10 did it as well. Injustice 2 did this as well, where instead of focusing on one character, it focuses on two characters at a time. And I don't feel like it gives enough time for each character to really have an arc or to feel like they served like a greater purpose other than, we're part of the cast and we got like a chapter.
Okay. I mean, this is a difficult conversation to have as someone who's only experienced one of these campaigns. So like, I can't compare.
But also that's also my preference.
Yeah.
That's my preference. Like there are like 11 has like it's weird. I feel like 11's a bit imbalanced because it does have some really good character arcs and character stories in there, and I feel like other times it's like there is clearly stuff that either could have been expanded more or cut because they don't do enough with it.
I'm never gonna tell you that Mortal Kombat 11's story is the most like perfect story possible.
We've certainly hit snacks.
Pointless parts. It's certainly got some problems.
BlazBlue has its problems. BlazBlue has
a shit ton of problems.
Yeah.
My point wasn't even to compare it. It's that my point was that comparing the story was not something that I was doing, and that I was focusing entirely on Mortal Kombat and also, I guess, 10. And that's why I was struggling to give you a base of comparison, because that was never part of my thought process to begin with when I was talking about my problems with Mortal Kombat 11. Sure. And it's also like you say, you can't really argue against Try's point because you never played BlazBlue, so you wouldn't have that kind of experience. I'm saying that bringing another game into the mix at all was not something was weird and was not a mistake, but was kind of missing the point. I guess that was my ultimate point.
As a
which
big
is that
campaign for a fighting game, however you want to call that. I've played a lot of fighting games. And most of them don't really have a good campaign, like a campaign of some kind to work through. And the ones that do thus far that I've played definitely aren't as bombastic or as impressive or expansive or feature as many characters as Mortal Kombat's. If you guys don't mind transitioning into a new topic that's still fighting gamey, seeing as we seem to have hit a dead end there.
Yeah.
What is
Does anyone play Pokken?
No.
I didn't know you were about to
Can we
bring
not-
your own. I'm sorry. You
Can
go
we
ahead.
not talk about Pokken and do whatever
Absolutely.
Lunch wants to
No,
talk about?
because they absolutely put in the wrong character from the Torchic branch. And
Yeah, I agree.
They put in both Blaziken and Combusken, but also I brought that up because I didn't know you were bringing your own topic. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Let's just fucking talk about Pokemon again on Bros in Landfill.
No, I don't really want to
What's
talk
your
about Pokken
favorite-
tournaments.
No. What I wanted to ask was, what is your favorite boss character in a fighting game?
Ooh,
Oh.
Like final boss?
I gotta think about this.
Because
I mean,
I
Hazama,
I think the only one that really applies to me is Taboo.
from Smash Bros. Brawl.
Yeah.
yeah, Taboo was. I don't remember liking Taboo that much. This might be a weird. I won't say this is my favorite, but this might be a weird take. I quite liked having I quite like the final bosses in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Ogre and Akuma, and not even them themselves, but them in the game itself. I felt like they were fun fights.
Whoa, this guy
And
played
a really
Street Fighter
weird-
Cross Tekken. Oh my god.
Yeah, I actually played the Vita version of it quite a bit because it was free on PlayStation Plus.
Huh. Okay, well,
Under
That's
Night
cool.
doesn't really have a final boss, and
Yeah.
fuck playing through story mode in Blaze Blue.
I like.
I would say none. Not that anyone asked me, but I don't think I've played any fighting games with "quote unquote" boss characters that I particularly enjoyed fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, I almost feel like part of the final. Sorry, continue.
What? No, I should probably explain. This is literally a problem I've had my entire life, where someone pauses in the middle of talking, and then I think they're done, so I start talking, and then they're like, "Oh, I wasn't done."
Don't worry, I do that too. That's something I struggle with.
It's hard to
It's kinda
not
hard
worry
on a
about it when your
podcast.
fourth grade teacher is telling you he's going to give you fucking detention for it.
Oof.
Well, we can't see each other right now, so it's a lot harder to judge that because we
Yeah.
can't see each other's faces.
Yeah, I should probably. I'm not I'm opening up a different can of worms than the one I usually do, but it's a can of worms all the same. But anyways,
But
back
we're-
on fighting game is that
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that I've played fighting games I really enjoyed, but in my experience, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I've played as many fighting games as the rest of you, so I don't know if this is the standard or if I just got some real stinkers. But even if the fighting game was really fun, usually the boss characters just had a ton of HP and did double damage or had extra special meter. So they just weren't fun to fight at all.
No, that's
Like,
absolutely. It's a long-standing traditions for fighting game final bosses to be fucking bullshit. Just complete
Yeah.
nonsense.
Android 21.
I mean, you
Level
look
5
at.
HP
They got some kind of
regeneration.
car alarm going on outside.
Plus, you
I
have
can't
no
hear from
skills and can only use one character.
Yeah, I mean,
So much fun.
you look at fucking Gil from Street Fighter 3, where he's already extremely hard, but when you finally do beat him, he resurrects back to life, and you have to beat him again on your same health. You're like, what the fuck?
I'll throw another weird take out there. And this is regards to the NetherRealms fighting games. The only final boss in the NetherRealms games that I actually kind of liked fighting, and probably because it wasn't completely bullshit, was Brainiac in Injustice 2. Granted, Injustice gives you a lot of Injustice and Injustice 2 give you a lot of tools to deal a lot of damage. Brainiac doesn't have all the same shields that other NetherRealm final bosses have. It's very easy just to bullshit him by doing the stage transition, which takes out a good chunk of his health, and then to use your super meter on him because you can actually use your super attacks against him. Still a difficult as balls fight, but
I
I feel-
kind of enjoy the fact that final bosses in fighting games, they kind of encourage you to cheese it. Like, I know that
Yeah, but
it's
like,
not cool.
but I think what Injustice 2 really works with is it gives you enough to mix it up so you don't feel like you're doing the same attacks over and over again. Like you have the stage transitions, you have your super meters, you have the stage projectiles, then you have your regular attacks, whatever cheese attacks you have. That it's never a boring fight. It's never this is fucking Raiden versus fucking Shao Kahn, and I'm just gonna keep teleporting and doing his flying across the stage over and over again to chip his health away. It's
MK9
just,
Shao Kahn is
Shao
like a
Kahn.
meme.
Shao Kahn in
Yeah.
MK9 is like a fucking sent from hell, man. He is only there to torment you.
He's a meme. He is literally a meme.
Yeah.
And then you have Corrupted Shinnok in Mortal Kombat 10, who isn't as bad, but he spams range.
He's
nonstop.
fine. He's not so bad. Corrupted Shinnok.
I think you just mean being a zoner.
Yeah.
No, because he has this attack where he like shoots fire from his chest that like goes across the screen, and he just stands there and keeps using it.
Yeah. It's Corrupted Shinnok's. The one thing I like
Like
about
he's the one cheesing you.
Yeah, the one thing I like about Shao Kahn over Corrupted Shinnok is that Corrupted Shinnok half of the time is really easy because he doesn't cheese you. The other half of the time you literally can't do anything about it.
He
Where
fighters you.
Where Shao Kahn maybe is like harder most of the time, but you feel like it's bullshit every time you fight him rather than getting a false sense of security.
Yeah, like Shao Kahn Shao Kahn's like King K. Rool, but he's better. He'll just no-sell your attacks and just beat the shit out of you.
I've never heard anyone compare those two characters before.
Well, probably
And-
because one of these games came out many years after the other.
Huh. I'm trying to imagine. I want someone to mod King K. Rool into Mortal Kombat over Shao Kahn now.
No, I want someone to mod Shao Kahn into Smash.
You know
Ultimate.
what? Fighting game bosses are absolute bullshit.
What's that?
Well, spiritless bosses in Ultimate.
That's
Well,
that's
you're doing
your
that- you're
I
doing that to
know, I
yourself,
know.
yeah.
It's self-imposed, but Dracula still can die in a fire.
I've still
was
never
gonna-
fought Dracula
From my
in
Piranha
Smash
Plant backers.
Ultimate. I know he's in
There's-
the game, but I've never fought him.
I think the only fighting game boss I've ever fight that wasn't bullshit was bullshit, but he was reverse bullshit, where he was so fucking. He was broken in the sense that he couldn't do anything at all,
Oh,
and yeah, he was the opposite bullshit. He was like, wow, I beat you by pressing one button over and over again, and I wasn't even trying to cheese you. I'm not gonna say his name though because this is like a
'Cause you don't wanna
this is a huge
humiliate
can
him?
of worms. No, this is just a gigantic can of worms, and I know like I wanted to mention this, but I also don't want to like really elaborate because it's a massive can of worms.
surely
It
you
was-
can give us a name. You can give us a name, Dizzy. Who is
It
this
was an arc
pathetic
system.
creature?
It was an arc
Is
system.
it the Persona fighting games?
Yes, it was the Persona fighting games. Both
Okay,
of their bosses, both of them in Arena and Ultimax, sucked massive balls.
Really?
They were useless against anything.
Yeah, I mean,
They could do nothing but watch, maybe get one super out every now and again with terrible range, and then you just walk in, mash square, and they die.
well then also could you hit them with your insta kills?
No, but only because I believe those were locked in arcade mode, but it didn't really
Okay.
matter because you could instant kill in Persona fighting game was basically just the fuck you button because you could only
Yeah.
use it when the enemy was pretty much dead anyways.
No.
It's not like that's the other thing
No,
too
but-
about
well,
Astral
well,
Finish.
that's-
and
well,
Blaze
just how
Blue.
Blaze Blue instant
Well,
kills work.
no. In Persona,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in the Persona Arena games, once you hit 100% bar, you could just throw out your
No,
insta
they
kill
have to
anytime
be
once.
they have to be low
No,
enough.
no, it's not. I don't think it has to be low enough. It's just if it's on the final round, as long as you hit them on the final round with the.
No, they
That
need
only-
to have a
it's
low
on
enough
Blake.
amount of HP.
I'm gonna need to fact check this because I'm pretty sure I was able to throw off final insta kills earlier than the low
Actually,
amount of
I
HP.
think don't you have to be awakened in order to do that? It's been a while since I
no,
played this game.
no,
honestly.
is this Guilty? Are you thinking Guilty Gear?
No, I've never played Guilty
Because Guilty Gear, you have to Guilty
Lynch,
Gear,
I
you
hope
have to
appreciate this.
because Guilty
I have
Guilty
no
Gear,
idea
you
what's
have to Guilty Gear, you have to awaken, and you can once you awaken, you can throw it off at any time. But it's also hard to land. However, if your opponent's near death on the last bar, and you go into your awaken state, it goes into a cancel state, which is long enough for you to put the inputs for the insta-kill without your opponent being able to do anything about it.
Well, in Persona, if you get in the Persona fighting game, if you get beaten up enough, then you go into like awakened mode, which gives you more skills, which gives you more special attacks to use, and that's pretty much it. And
Yeah, but you don't need to be in the awakened state to do.
I never used the
kills.
finisher attacks as the thing because
Well, see,
they were
see,
were pointless, and also they all had the exact same button input.
Yeah, I always use the instant kills because like I have a bad obsession with trying to win in the most flashy way possible, which has gotten me more losses than I'd like to admit.
Honestly, like I only brought these games up to mention your villains, which is Shadow Labrys, the walking plot hole, sucks balls, and then in Arena Ultimax you have Sho and what's his name, Minazaki, I think, or.
Yeah, Sho Miyazaki.
I keep getting him mixed up with the guy from The World Ends With You, who's like Show Me Mami Moto or something. That would have been
Sho Minamoto.
He would have been so much better for Arena Ultimax. But anyway, so yeah, Sho is god awful. Like he'll spam you with attacks, but he does like piss damage. So you just kind of beat the crap out of him. And then you have his super evil form, Minazaki, who is the worst fucking fighter in the game.
Well, that's
then we have
It's so bad.
Yeah,
and then you just walk up and run his face through the dirt, which I guess is fitting because he deserves it. His entire personality is I'm an asshole. So, but it's not even satisfying because his entire personality is I'm an asshole.
Yeah, and then in Persona Arena you also have like with Persona Arena Ultimate specifically, you have the wonderful mechanic that comes along with shadow versions of each of the characters. So like we're artificially doubling the cast just to give them a dumb mechanic.
The shadow characters are so bad.
Where's how come it's in most fighting games it's only particular types of characters you get to have evil modes, like the main guy like Ryu or Jin or Kyo or whatever, Jago, Shadow Jago. When are we gonna get evil E Honda or like fucking
evil
Dark Blanca?
Evil Mario.
Yeah, where's Evil Mario? When are they gonna add that to Smash?
I thought his name was Bowser Jr.
What's the reason?
I thought his name was Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario
does not stand for dark. It stands for doctor.
No, he's evil. He is
Oh,
evil. He's not Dark Mario. He's Evil Mario because he never actually went to medical school. Those pills he's giving you, he doesn't know what they do. He's a psychopath in a doctor's
Let's
office.
go. No, he's
crazy.
evil because he's.
Did you know you can just buy lab coats?
Did you know you can just buy pills off the street?
He's got the He's keeping the cure for AIDS from the Mushroom Kingdom so he can continue to profit off them with his fucking pharmaceuticals. And you know what? We need to stop enabling him.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what? Dr. Mario can keep the cure for AIDS from the Mushroom Kingdom because no one fucks down there anyways.
Dizzy, 2019. No one fucks in the Mushroom Kingdom.
It's all asexual reproduction.
I'm going to hell.
Hello!
Oh, the devil's here.
Yeah.
He's pointing at his wristwatch. He's like, all right, there you go. You made an AIDS joke. Time to go to hell.
Time to go to hell. Like, I guess we have to end the episode now, guys.
Is that seriously how we're ending this?
It's all downhill from here, guys.
I think you mean all downhill from here.
And this has been Bros in a Wheel!
Toad doesn't
Signing off.
I'm being dragged. Help me. I'm dying.